Hey everyone, Shout here, and welcome to Dead by Daylight, the Silent Hill chapter. This is an absolutely monumental licensed chapter for Behavior, and I'm so happy to see such an iconic horror character in the game. This DLC comes with one new killer, one new survivor, and one new map. The killer, obviously, none other than Pyramid Head himself. He comes with 3 unique perks, as is standard with every single Dead by Daylight character. First of which is Forced Penance. So Forced Penance at tier 3 means that survivors who take a protection hit are inflicted with the broken status effect for 30 seconds. That means any survivor who takes a body block for another survivor cannot heal for 30 seconds. Could be quite useful in some situations, but in the long run, not that useful of a perk. He comes with Trail of Torment. You guide your victims along a path of pain and punishment. After kicking a generator, you become undetectable for 15 seconds. Undetectable means that you have no red stain and you have no terror radius for the survivors. But during this time, the generator's yellow. The generator that you kicked, their aura is revealed in yellow for the survivors. So you become undetectable, they can't hear your terror radius, they can't see your red stain, but they know whereabouts that you're coming from. This perk could be really fun on a lot of different killers. I see it very similar to the Plagues perk of Dark Devotion. It could be fun. I don't think it's going to be meta shifting, but it could be a lot of fun. And finally, Deathbound. Those whose lives are intertwined in darkness are destined to suffer together. When a survivor heals another survivor for 1 health state at least 32 meters away from the killer, so only if they're if they're further than 32 meters away from the killer, the survivor performing the healing action will scream, revealing their location to the killer, and activating Deathbound for 45 seconds. During that time, you suffer from the Oblivious status effect when further than 8 meters away from the survivor you just healed. The Oblivious status effect means that you can't hear the terror radius. Perks that affect the terror radius are not affected, do not work. So Borrowed Time will not work if you save someone while you are oblivious. When you're further than 8 meters away from the survivor. This has been the perk that I've got the most use out of. It is actually pretty good if people run off to the corner to heal, and then they scream, alerting your location to 2 survivors. And obviously, Oblivious is quite a powerful status effect when it gets use out of it. So, all in all, a quite decent set of perks. Onto the survivor, we have Cheryl or Heather Mason. She also comes with 3 unique perks. First one being Soul Guard. You've been through immense hardship and you're stronger for it. You gain the Endurance status effect for 8 seconds after being healed or having recovered from the dying state. And whilst you are cursed by a hex, you can fully recover from the dying state. So this is a really, really strong perk. This can be quite useful. This will stop situations where there's a few of you slugged maybe, and the killer is chasing the last person who's up. They come and they heal you up for the killer just to come and smack you right back down again. This will stop that from happening. You gain endurance, so you can take another hit. It's as if they healed you to full almost. It also comes in with a built-in Unbreakable if you're cursed by a hex, which is a slight nerf to hex perks, but I think the idea of rewarding survivors for being cursed is an interesting one, and one that the Behavior can definitely do a lot more with in the future. We also have Blood Pact. It's as if a latent part of yourself is awakened. You feel like you can reach out beyond yourself for assistance. When you or the Obsession are injured, you see each other's auras. After healing the Obsession or being healed by the Obsession, you both gain a haste status effect for 8 seconds. This reduces the odds of being the Obsession, and if you are the Obsession, then this perk is useless. It won't help you for the whole game. This is again another interesting one. The haste status effect is obviously quite useful, being able to run at 150% movement speed when the killer only runs at either 110 or 115. So you can definitely get some use out of this. And finally, the Repressed Alliance. You're accustomed to being hunted by malicious forces, and you've begun using it to your advantage. Repressed Alliance activates after repairing generators for a total of 60 seconds. When repairing a generator while the perk is active, press the active ability button, which for default is E. The same button you'd use for Dead Hard, same button you'd use for the People, for Any Means Necessary, all of these kinds of perks. You can call upon the entity to block the generator for 30 seconds, and the perk deactivates. The effect the generators will be revealed by a white aura to all survivors. This is basically, if you've got a generator maybe that's close to being done, the killer's just hooked somebody, they're coming over with their Pop Goes the Weasel stack, you can press E, block the generator, make it so the killer cannot kick that generator. So survivors can slow the game down now, which again, a very, very interesting way. Most people want the game slowed down from the killer perspective. Now you have a perk that the survivors can use to slow down the game, make sure that the generator is not being done, but also make sure that the generator is not regressing, which is the main power of this perk. On to the new map, guys. We have the Midwich Elementary School with the famous siren playing as you load in. This map is a maze of corridors, of classrooms. It has outside areas. It's an absolutely beautiful map. I've recruited the help of my friend Dan, who's decided to use Object of Obsession. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough through all of the rooms in this map. This map does feature breakable walls, which were introduced as a feature in the Deathslingers chapter. In the Dead Dog Saloon, so it can open up secret areas of the map, secret ways of getting through the map. Like I said, this map is very maze-like to begin with. It's going to take a lot of time to wrap my head around it. Like I said, it's got multiple levels, so we're on the top level of the school at the moment. If we go up, there should actually be a dead end there, yes. If we go down, then we can see the bottom level of the school. Again, very aesthetically pleasing map. Basement's just there. I think the basement always spawns there. There's no shack on this map either. This is a very, very beaten down elementary school. A couple of really, really nice rooms for the killer. This being one of them. Lots of dead ends for survivors. Here we have one of the exit gates. And the outside area. So the outside area is very, very cool with the 3 chains. There are a couple of maze tiles in this area as well. Nothing too helpful for the survivors, nothing that's going to keep the killer there for a very, very long time. But, like I said, absolutely beautiful, stunning map. I will put some more clips of... sorry, Dan was there. I'll put some more clips of the map in other gameplay bits that we're going to use. But this is the map in a nutshell. There's lots of breakable walls. Lots of tight corridors, going to be really, really good for the stealth killers. A couple of really strong pallets, though, for the survivor. Things like this. The killer has to break something like that. So all in all, although I don't really know the map very well, it seems like quite a fun map, quite a nice balanced map. It seems like it's going to have a decent amount to work with the killer and the survivor, depending on how you play the game. Obviously, it being a mostly indoor map, it's also going to be very strong for stealth killers. I actually haven't seen the exit gates. This is pretty fucking cool. Damn. Pyramid Head's power. Pyramid Head has a very, very complex power, the first part of which is called the Rites of Judgment. What the Rites of Judgment allows you to do is place a trail behind you as you move. Doesn't slow down that much either whilst using it, and this leaves a trail. What happens with the trails is if a survivor runs through it, runs or walks over it, they can crouch over it without any effect. They get a new status effect called Tormented. What Tormented does is when you down a survivor and they are tormented, then you get to send them to what is called a Cage of Atonement. I'll put a clip in right here to show you exactly what that looks like from the killer perspective. Another thing worth mentioning about the Cages of Atonement is that hook states for the survivors' hook states. However, they do not act like a hook when it comes to perks. Therefore, a killer will not get barbecue stacks from using the Cages of Atonement. The killer will not get a Pop Goes the Weasel stack for using a Cage of Atonement. And survivors cannot use Decisive Strike, Borrow Time, Will Make It, and perks such as that to help save from the Cages of Atonement. This might get patched for the first release, the actual release, but without any other information, it is hard to tell. Also, if a survivor is tormented and they are on death hook, you can perform a mini Mori, which I will include a clip of right now. Oh, that's it. There's Final Judgment. You can get my friend to walk over it. Show you guys, whilst you are walking over it as well, the survivor gets a red killer instinct shown to the killer, which is right there. This gives the killer your location, and they can see exactly where you are. It does, however, clear part of the trail if the survivor does walk over it. Part 2 of his power is the Punishment of the Damned. So this is a long-range attack that can hit through walls, it can hit through pretty much anything in the game. The only thing it can't do is go upstairs, and it can't go through extra air. So an example of this is right here. It can hit multiple survivors, you will not be able to be body blocked, and it can down survivors as well. So it is a very, very powerful ability, but also very, very hard to use. You're quite static whilst you do this. You can definitely get some insane hits with this. I'll put some more clips in here of me using this power to its full effect in other games as well. Fine, guys. Apologies if you've already shown / discussed. I've been installing aircon. Why is Tetra Hyden's head movement speed inside? You sure can. Now for the Mori, guys. Every killer in Dead by Daylight, as you know, has its own unique Mori. Here is Pyramid Heads. Very, very cool. Finally, guys, we have the in-game stats of the Pyramid Head or the Executioner. By this, I mean the movement speed, 4.6 meters per second. That is 115%, the same movement speed as the Trapper. By default, with that movement speed, he has a 32-meter terror radius. And because he's got a massive pyramid on his head, he's a very, very tall boy. There you have it, guys. Everything you need to know about the Silent Hill DLC chapter that is upcoming to Dead by Daylight. I think Pyramid Head, or the Executioner, will be an incredible addition to the game. Something that I've been personally hoping for quite a long time. So I hope you guys enjoy this chapter. Yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. Peace.